Dajahao, my name is Garrett, and welcome back to Taiwan, Lao Wai. This is going to be the third and last video from our big day out and about in Taipei. We've already visited Taipei 101 and checked out the National Taiwan Museum. I'll link those videos in the description below. But now at last, it is time to continue our Mission Michelin, our journey to eat at every Michelin recommended restaurant in Taipei. Excuse me a second, this mess is getting very itchy. Oh. So, our destination tonight is a little place called Inns Plus. It's a Taiwanese restaurant up north, close to the border of the river that separates the main chunk of Taipei City from its more northern stretches. From what I've read, its cuisine tends to be a pretty traditional Taiwanese fare, but sort of updated for a more health-conscious palate. Fun fact, I've been trying to get a reservation at this place for ages, but for some reason or another, I keep messing it up. Like, either I try to book too far in advance, or I'm too late and all the reservations are taken already. It's just, the world did not want me to eat at this restaurant, I tell ya. But I finally managed to snag us a time. Our reservation is at 6 o'clock tonight. It's just about 5:05 right now, so we've got plenty of time to get up there. And believe it or not, we are gonna bike again, because I could use the exercise and that'll make sure I'm nice and hungry when it's finally time to eat. So I'm gonna hop on a bike. I'll see you up there. Oh hey look, it's the Regent Taipei. It's the site of our last Mission Michelin, impromptu by Paul Lee. How fun passing by. Mission successful. Pardon me while I refresh my electrolytes a little bit. Oh my god, the rain is actually starting now. Give me a second. Alright, so it literally took until I was almost at the restaurant's doorstep, but the rain is finally picking up to more than like a teensy-tiny sprinkle. Oh yeah, it's coming down now. Alright, we're just gonna pop under this awning for a hot second while we refresh. Swear to God, our luck held on so long there. We got so lucky. I guess I should do a quick price update. My experience with the Taipei 101 Observatory got me up to 1,555 NTD, if I remember correctly. Then the ticket to the museum was an extra 30, this was 29. So altogether, I'm up to, if I'm mathing correctly, that should be 1,614 NTD so far. So that plus whatever my check at Inns Plus ends up being is going to be my damage for the night. For the day, for the whole day. I have had worse individual days, and you gotta splurge sometimes, so hey. I hope you've been enjoying this day. I know I have. I'm honestly shocked I'm not more exhausted than I am. Like, I still feel pretty spry on my feet, all things considered. That said, this dinner is absolutely going to knock that out of me. So this is one last sign-off before I head into the realm of gluttony. It's like 5:40 right now, we've got 20 minutes, we're basically right there already, so we're all good. I'm gonna finish this drink, find somewhere to go to the bathroom, then I will see you at the restaurant. Take care. Alright, I'm pretty sure this is the alley down which the restaurant resides. It's kind of interesting how many Michelin restaurants I've found not on the main drag, but they're like tucked in between the smaller alleys where you have to go a bit out of your way to find them. But Lord Almighty, I think we have arrived. This white sign here marks the entrance to Inns Plus. Not sure if they'll let me in ahead of schedule to get out of the rain, but we will see.
1 hour later.
Oh, Delilah, that was delicious. And lo and behold, the rain has already stopped. It was just a passing squall. Man, we had so much bad luck the first time I tried to go to Taipei 101. This makes up for it and then some. So quickly before I forget, the total cost of that meal was 1,353 NTD. That's for 3 dishes, a drink, and dessert, basically. So, not bad. Fair warning though, water does not come free, which was a bit of a shock to me. You do have to purchase your own water separately unless you want to buy a different drink instead. Kind of annoying, but I can deal with it. Especially because the rest of the meal was so darn good. So it's worth noting that this restaurant mostly caters to big parties over small groups. It's a pretty small dining room, and most of it is taken up by these 2 enormous, like, 12-seater tables, or maybe 10-seater tables, some number like that. And that's like classic Taiwanese banquet-style eating, where you get together all your friends and family, you go out, and you're served a big selection of big dishes that everybody serves themselves from. Obviously, that is not what I went for. Not even my appetite is that absurd. And there is space for smaller parties as long as you book in advance. Just know that the prime Ins Plus experience is probably getting the whole gang together and ordering the big feast. Also, I think I accidentally crossed the street when I wasn't supposed to. Give me a second. Anyways, like I said, the menu was very classic Taiwanese cuisine, maybe a few modern tweaks here and there, but overall pretty traditional. Stylistically, the restaurant it reminds me the most of is Peng Family, which was that Cantonese restaurant I ate at way back near the start of this whole experience. Those same kind of dishes rooted in tradition, though in this case given a bit of a facelift and more straightforward Taiwanese than Chinese. And it's all very efficient. I was in and out of there in like 40 minutes or like 45 minutes, something like that. This is not the lengthy feast you might get at some of the Michelin star restaurants, at least not if you're a solo diner like me. The full feast experience might take a little longer. I recommend you start with the little plate of daily appetizers / side dishes for 80 NTD. These are the kinds of little snacks you can get at most traditional Taiwanese eateries. They're done really well here. It's, you know, tofu, hot peppers, pickled vegetables, rotating selection based on whatever they've got on any given day. It's a good palate cleanser, a good way to start out the night and get you ready for the lip-smacking dishes yet to come. Sorry, quick location change, the bus showed up. I usually take the train home, but the buses have been especially good to me lately, so I'm rolling with those. Anyways, let's talk about the main feast of the night. So I got 3 dishes all together. The first that showed up was these Shaoxing marinated shrimp. Shaoxing wine is like Chinese cooking wine. It's rice wine, obviously. And these shrimp, I don't even think they were cooked. They were just marinated ceviche style in the Shaoxing wine until they basically cooked through from the acid. Like you could tell, they were still very plump and squishy in the center, like they were just perforated through with the cooking chemistry. Well, they were quite nice. The Shaoxing flavor came through pretty strong. It's this very sort of mild, sweet tanginess. Basically just a very good, cold, refreshing seafood dish to start the night off. Although it was very sloppy to eat, I'll admit, you definitely have to make use of the napkins. The next to show up was a big fat oyster omelet, and this is something that you will see a lot at traditional Taiwanese restaurants and night market stalls. It's this egg foo young style, big fat meaty omelet. And in this traditional preparation, it's mixed with a whole lot of oysters, like whole oysters just mixed into the eggs and cooked through in this big fat pancake shape. Now, I've struggled with this dish before because I often struggle with shellfish like mollusks and mussels and oysters. In retrospect, I think seafood is just one of those things that you cannot half-ass. If you try to use bulk stuff or frozen stuff, it will come out disgusting. A lot of times when I've tried to have this kind of oyster omelet at night markets, it feels like I'm eating snot, and I think that's because they buy the oysters in bulk to make them in big batches, so they come, you know, frozen, maybe pre-prepared, and it's not very nice. This one though, boy am I glad I decided to take a leap of faith on it. These oysters were plump, they were thick, they were meaty. There was just a bit of the bitter brine of the sea, but it's okay, it was a good accent. This is what oysters should be. basically, and it made eating this omelet very enjoyable. I mean, it came to the table in like a sizzling clay pot. What more could you want? This was the first time I really understood this dish as like Taiwanese comfort food. Like, this is the way it should be made. It was very satisfying. Oh, good lord, the rain is starting up again. Give me a second. Alright, it was just absurdly rainy for like 5 minutes, and now it's starting to calm down again. Swear to God, this weather is making no sense whatsoever tonight. Anyways, back to the seafood omelet. It was also served with this very spicy, pungent chili paste that you could put in and mix in at your leisure. It does pack a really strong kick, especially at like the front of your mouth, so this is something if you are a spice lover and not if you are not. Personally, I like to think of myself as more of a spice guy than most white people, but this one definitely knocked me on my ass a little bit. But I'm certainly not gonna complain. It was nice to do just like a teensy-tiny bit and feel it sort of tickle my nostrils a little. Moving on, the very last dish I got tonight was some crispy, deep-fried pork. And this was the jackpot, my friends. This was so good. Crispy, crunchy, salty, succulent. This wonderful layer of like crispy panko breading on top. And the meat underneath was so juicy and spiked through with umami. I don't know what they did to make pork this flavorful. I usually find it can go kind of dry, but my God, I was salivating the whole time I was eating that. Note that in the Taiwanese style, they do fry a lot of these chunks of pork with the rib bones and stuff still in, so you do have to gnaw your way around that as you eat, but it is so worth it, oh my God. I'm a simple man. If you serve me meat where the fat is literally melting in my mouth, I am happy. One thing I also like is that a lot of the dishes give you the option to order small or big portions, so you can sort of control where you're at in terms of how much food you're getting. I got the small Shaoxing shrimp and the small crispy fried pork, and both of those were sort of the perfect portions for just one person eating on their own. Obviously, if you're in a bigger group and more than one person wants to eat the same thing, you can order the large version and you can all tuck in together. But for what I got, those 3 dishes were pretty much perfect to satisfy me and leave me comfortably full without wanting more or feeling like I was about to burst. With a little extra dessert pocket for some caramel pudding at the end, because it is always nice to end the meal with something sweet. I really liked how bitter the caramel at the bottom of this pudding was. It was a really nice contrast to the sweet milkiness of the custard itself. And like I said, altogether the total cost was $13.53 NTD. That's plus $1.50 for the water, which again, a little annoying that you have to pay for water, but I'm fine with it considering how good the rest of the meal was. Point blank, this was a very delicious feast, and I may well come back here sometime just to try a few more interesting things they had on their menu. Also, I literally see my bus pulling up right now, so I'm gonna have to do the outro in like an hour or so. Okay, bye, see you soon.
1 hour later.
Okay, and we're back in Taiwan at last. Man, I thought I was gonna be back at like 10 o'clock. It's not even 8:30 yet. This has truly been a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me. Next time I probably won't go quite so crazy and doing like all this stuff in one day. I can do things low-key sometimes. You watch. For now though, thank you once again for joining me at Taiwan Lao Wai. Or, excuse me, motorcycles. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, smash the bell, share with your friends, all that good stuff. And as always, I'll see you next time. 再见. Bye-bye.